first and foremost, anything relating to studying, education, knowledge, I think I need to thank my mom. She has been that cornerstone to inculcate studies or knowledge. I mean, even now she actually does free tutoring for children because we value education a lot back home, and that's the biggest service one can do, sharing of knowledge. As they say, you can feed somebody fish for a day, but teach them fishing for the rest of their life. So for me, that's her. And always pushing my boundaries, putting myself into uncomfortable zones is something I have done unconsciously, and I think I need to thank my dad for that. He actually would have been the most proudest person today. My heart is going really fast. Yeah, he was my rock all my life, and after him, I completely lost myself, and actually I had to go through a journey to find myself. And so it is him who taught me to take that courageous step. And even now, his words really ring in me. You know, like I remember when I was young, I used to, sometimes in tears, he would say, "My daughter doesn't cry like that. She would face it." And yeah, so I have to thank him. And of course, my four pillars, like the four legs of the table, my brother who is in India, and the three people who are here. They have been a really, really strong support, always balancing me when I'm imbalanced. And I think I have to really, a lot of this credit goes to them. My very first reviewer is sitting right in front, my son, who did the first review of every chapter. He doesn't know business analysis, neither cybersecurity, but he did a phenomenal job. And my idea for his review was, if he can understand, anybody can understand. And that was my intention. And and my younger one did a lot of illustration, we went through those cycles. And of course, the youngest man in the house, he just was in the behind, supporting very quietly. And I think that gave me a lot of space to do what I love to do. So this day wouldn't have been the same without the support from the community. And some of the people are really here sitting. Janice, Nick, who really supported throughout this process. And of course, many others who wanted to be here and not here. And my heartfelt thanks to all of you who are here, who really took the time to be here to support me. And thank you for being here. And also I'm so grateful for all the love that I've received on social media. Heather, everyone. And that was something I never expected in the beginning. But every time there was something, all of them really, really supported. And I think, that's where. So it's very gratifying feeling. And hopefully after today, I might actually kind of sit back and realize what has happened.
I'm so glad we were able to kind of take that moment to take stock of that journey, of those people involved in that journey. And that support is so important. And I remember when we started out when talking to external people for those reviewers, for that SME feedback, of how much support there was from those individuals and how much positive feedback there was as well. I think we're always so grateful for that. And just goes to show from the beginning how great this book was, which is always lovely to see. And obviously we saw some fantastic endorsements as well.
Yes, definitely. And so far, everybody whoever has reviewed from the beginning and now after during the endorsement phase, and even now I'm still receiving those messages people are, sending me and saying, I love this part, I love this particular story. And I think as a very first time author, I couldn't have asked for more. Thank you. And thank you for reaching out for this book. I mean, I don't know, it just came out of nowhere. I didn't expect you, but yes, thank you for that.
Yeah, it was 1 month into my new role that we reached out, and it's definitely one of the better things I did in the first 6 months. So I'm so glad we could be here today to celebrate your success and the start of that relationship. Absolutely. It's the key to, I think, a lot of products, and it's so great with books because they are so far-reaching. They do travel all over the globe, so it's great to see that support on social media from those people reaching out. And I have to ask, what was the inspiration behind the book, and why now?
I think the inspiration itself was my first-hand experience working on a project which was basically a cyber incident. And this project was on the backlog probably for 2 years or something. And since there was capacity, the project manager came and said, okay, we have this project to work. And I was asking, what is it about? They said, no, there's a problem, there's a solution as well. And I was given the problem and the solution. So I was wondering, why do they need a BA when they already have a solution? But we all are still in the project, and I can see Stu agreeing. So and like any business analyst would do, started, understanding what the problem was, root cause, and also trying to see if the solution that has been devised probably a year or two back, is it still viable? And when I started talking to all the teams, it just occurred that there was a data leak that was happening, and it didn't happen just once, it happened multiple times. And in spite of that, the business and all the teams didn't realize that it was important, and this was for a subscription product, and the intellectual property was actually the bread and butter for the organization. And imagine if all that information was out there. And this organization was one of the prestigious organization and the rare reputation and a lot more. So that really got me thinking, why is that nobody thought about this, and who should think about this, obviously. Then again, as a BA, it's the kind of responsibility that we take, and started thinking, is it something as a BA I should be doing, should be looking into it or not? Because cybersecurity is such a technical subject, and it's only the IT team or the security team does it, and I don't have anything to do with it. That's the understanding I had. And then, but somewhere this was, in the background, it didn't sit well, started thinking about it constantly, Googled and tried to get some information. Okay, does a BA do anything in the BA space? But I couldn't find nothing. So, but somewhere deep within me, I am a meditator. I listen to my inner self quite a bit because I know I can trust that voice inside me. So I just kind of continued, and I thought, okay, let me go back to uni and study. Enrolled for the master's and studied security management. And that time, many were asking me, oh, you're a BA, why are you studying cybersecurity? I couldn't explain well enough then, but somewhere I felt I needed this. And after I studied, it so happened IIBA was just thinking about cybersecurity as part of their work, and one thing led to another. I was part of the CCA certification, one of the co-authors there, and since then there was kind of some recognition, but when there's a single voice, not many people want to hear. And there were times where I used to feel, should I just kind of take my foot off? But I couldn't sleep. So at every conference, Terry and I, one of my colleague, we really worked for 5 years together. Amazing man. So we started taking this message to many conferences, webinars, wherever there was an opportunity to say, BAs need to do this. This is very, very important. I know we have few BAs. What does a BA do? Anybody? Come on. Paddy.
Analyze.
Analyze, yes.
Good word, don't it?
Okay. Yes. What do we...
Talk with many people about it.
Yes, we have to do. Communicate. But what do we achieve? What are we?
With the drivers who make things happen.
Brilliant. Yes, we are influencers. Adriana, you were trying to say something?
Well, I was thinking about the drive change and we
Yes.
make solutions for the next time.
We are problem solvers, aren't we? We are trusted advisors. Very, very heavy word. Trust. So, when somebody is trusting us and they are taking the decisions based on our analysis, how should our analysis be? It should be complete. It should be accurate. And if we are missing one of the key aspects, securing, because we talk about value, we co-create value. But why don't we secure that value that we have co-created? Why do we leave that to somebody else? And we are seeing, just by leaving it to somebody else, that is not working. So these were some of the things that kind of was going. So the last 5 years, been sharing this key message or bringing this awareness within the community. And at the end of it, people would come and say, yes, I actually get it now, but how do I go about it? So there were a few tips, there were a few tricks that were shared during those sessions. But if I want to do more, what should I do, was the question. And the logical step or a continuation to that was to give a structure to this study and basically hold a business analyst's hand to say how to incorporate security holistically within our analysis, and that's exactly what the book is doing now. So I had to create a framework which has aspects of both cybersecurity and business analysis together and package it in a way that it is implementable, easy to understand. And that is where we are here, and that's why it is.
Amazing. And I think your ethos of going to those who aren't such bad success in this area, who don't have the foundation in this area, and actually going to them for feedback. I think that's such a great position to be in as well, to ask them, can you understand the foundation of this knowledge, which is so important for a book like this? And what would you say the writing process was like for this?
A very brilliant question, Heather. Really good. It's a mixture of feelings, honestly. First of all, I didn't even realize I could do this. And we had our moments where I just wanted to stall this project for, I don't know, however long. But Heather was actually very strict. No, we have this deadline, you have to. So, if I look back, there's a lot of mixture of emotions. There's extreme tiredness, there's extreme exhaustiveness, and there's extreme peacefulness at the end of it as well. So I do have a day job, so this was just not one of the things I would do. So during the weekday, from Monday to Friday, client work, and luckily I was in one of those very tricky projects where it would take me day and evenings and sometimes weekends as well. So after the Friday evening, whole nighter on the book, and Saturday, sleep again. Saturday night, another all-nighter. Sunday, recoup like a zombie, and back to Monday meetings. But the kind of depth I have gone into the subject, as well as the kind of depth I have reached within me, is something I had never experienced in my work. Of course, when I meditate, sometimes I go to that space, but this, after completing every chapter, the experience is completely different. I mean, it's quite difficult for me to even articulate with words, and it just took me to a very, very quiet space and beautiful space. And I would love to go back to that place again and again and again. And this is a subject where it's so huge, we were just discussing as well. When we talk about security, cybersecurity, it's so huge, wide, deep. And you gave me the deadline. This is the number of, the length as well. So what to include, what not to include was a challenge. And also how to deliver this message was always a challenge. Although I had the overall kind of a structure or a context, putting every chapter together with BA and the CS, what CS aspects was a challenge. But one thing I've really experienced, and I would love to share this, is reflection or a meditation or intuition, whatever we want to call it as, was the most helpful tool I had. I used to just, I'm writing this chapter. There are a lot of things, and you know how over the years, how much of content and links I had accumulated. I have so many WhatsApp groups with myself, because every time I get some ideas, I would put it into it. On my email, there are post-it notes. There's a lot of information. So even to kind of tidying that would take a lot of time. So I had loads of information, and what to put, what not to put was a challenge. So I used to put everything in front of me, and this is a chapter I need to write, and how do I go put it? I would just set this question, intention, and then go to my meditation. You don't believe me, I just felt like data was just being downloaded. Honestly, that is the kind of experience I had, and I had to really come out of that and write down those ideas, otherwise I would have missed it after the session. So, and again, go back to that space. I'm going to write this, then come back again. So that process, and once I had that, the rest just followed. And also, both the subjects, business analysis and cybersecurity, are completely theoretical, dry subjects. And how do I give life into it? And that is where a lot of stories, personal anecdotes, all of them came. And I think that is one of the reasons this book is standing out. And I'm sure Nick has done it, he has read it. He did talk about this as well in his endorsement, saying that because of these stories, the contents just becomes alive. And those stories, remembering those stories itself, takes us to that concept where we don't even forget what the concept is.
It's amazing, isn't it, the power of storytelling?
Absolutely. And I think again in that I do have my personal experiences, because my son came and asked, Mom, I know you're a business analyst, but what does a business analyst do? And how do you explain a 10-year-old what a BA does? Because when you say a teacher, everybody knows what a teacher does. When you say a driver, everybody knows what a driver. When you say a photographer, we know what the photographer does. But what does a BA do? So I had to tell him a story, and that's when it started. So the first chapter is all about talking about the BA mindset and the BA responsibility, and that's when I had to put that personal experience. But then when the next chapters, I didn't even think about putting those stories in the beginning. But then when the next chapter came, third came, it just felt that those stories were relevant. And again, as I said, those stories, and some of the stories were something I heard in my childhood. And I don't know where in the corner of my mind those stories were, but as I kind of did that, my reflective exercise, it popped, and it just felt that was the right fit to go. And that is one of the reasons this book is really relatable and really connecting, though it is two technical subjects, is connecting to people. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really funny reflecting on storytelling as well, because that is how we started disseminating information. It was with stories or songs, and it's still such, as I mentioned, such an important method. I think, as you say, working with technical subjects, the most important thing you can do when you're trying to teach those technical subjects is make it relatable, make it digestible, because anyone can write down what they know, but it takes a real skill to know how to disseminate that information, make it digestible, understand how they can take that themselves and go replicate that or go take that to their practical lives. And I think you've done it very well in this book, from using your tool set and from that inner reflection of understanding, I know this information, but what do they need to know? What is the core information and how do I deliver that to the readers? And writing a book is such a journey, especially as majority of authors are writing alongside their other work commitments, other personal commitments. So it is, it's very difficult to say, right, you've got a deadline, I know you've got other commitments, but you need to hit this deadline, because I'm such an empathetic person, like I know you've got, but we need to make this happen. And especially if life events happen and sometimes you do need to take a stop and a break, and that's absolutely fine. But it's so important to keep with that momentum and keep with the book as well, because I think it's so easy to think, no, I'll put it to the side, and then it's been 5 years, and it's a real journey and it's a real commitment as well. And how do you feel the book has shaped up? Are you happy with it? Is there anything that you're reflecting on now? Obviously, I think no author is happy with the book. If an author revisits a book, they'll be like, oh, get my pen, let me just mark this up. Because there's always something that you'd want to kind of change, or just that's the nature of humans, I think. But what do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. When I first read my very first draft, you don't believe, how many times I told myself, how can you write like this, or how did you even put this? But I think the few revisions were, not the concepts, but the way I said those, the content I laid out, those were the things that I had to change. And honestly, as I said, after that, I've been kind of working as well. So only yesterday night, I was telling my kids, I have to read my book for today. And I actually opened the book yesterday night to kind of read. And I think probably the 3 chapters I might have read, couldn't read beyond that. But at this point, Heather, I think just by listening to the sharing and the feedback that I'm receiving, it is an exceptionally well-received book. And honestly, when I wrote this book, I told my family as well, it has taken everything from me. That's it. I'm not going to think about it. How this book goes out, how it really lands, I'm really not going to think, because I've got an internal satisfaction, and that is it. And that's exactly my feeling was. And I was just sharing this to one of my friends, and they said, why did you even write this book? I said, there was an important message to share it with the community. Then do you think the book does by itself? Sharing that. So if you have written that book, it's your responsibility to share it as well. So at the moment, my focus is completely on what it is now, but I think I will definitely take my Sharpies and start making those notes and trying to say how and what I could change or what I should have changed. As humans, as you said, when you do something, only then you can better it. You can't have perfection at the first iteration. So this is my first iteration, so don't know, but where I am at the moment, I can't think of writing any other book. Yes.
It's still early days.
That's what I'm hearing from many people here today.
Yes, you've kind of written the book, and now it's time to show the world why they need it as well. And books like these as well, they do become calling cards, and you do see people strike conversation with you, and you quite often find when you are talking about it either at conferences, there's always someone who wants to have a conversation about it. But if someone did come up and did start a conversation about this book, and did ask you, what do you think the future of cybersecurity and business analysis is, what would you think you'd answer?
I think we have embraced technology consciously or unconsciously. It's become part of our lives. The moment we wake up, during our sleep, every time. I mean, it's pervasive now. And like any other tool, it is a kind of double-edged sword. So, and in the book as well, I say, as technology expands, so does the need for security. So we are definitely no looking back when it comes to technology today. So as long as technology is alive, this is alive. Having said that, the mindset or the security mindset hasn't kept the pace with technology. So we kind of, make sure before we sleep, we lock our doors. We have even fancy, sophisticated electronic systems, everything. But if one of the windows is open or there's a crack, that is something we don't realize it. So that is a security mindset. We are so excited these days, like when we are flying, we say we show our boarding passes and take a selfie, I'm flying this, but we don't realize that boarding pass has all the information, including the passport details. So this is again at an individual level, but at the organization level as well, there is a lot that we need to be doing. And I feel that this is just the start. In fact, sometimes I wonder how is that, we've been in this profession for such a long time. Why is that we didn't even realize this? But I think if that was the case, even with organizations, security is always an afterthought, but now they are realizing. So I think so are we. So it is still just the beginning. And this is something every BA should continue. And this should really be part of our day-to-day work. Cybersecurity is not outside of analysis. It should be part of the analysis, and that is something that the future, from in a BA space I'm talking about. But again, cybersecurity on the whole is completely another conversation, which, is something every organization should realize.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to the start of our conversation as well, asking what is a BA, what are they responsible for, what are they seen as, and seeing as in that position of advisory, being able to have that mindset is going to be so powerful for them as well, to help start the conversation on a security first mindset. And there always will be human error and there always will be that element, but it's how to have those securities in mind, rather than having it as an afterthought, as you say. And I think BAs love to learn as well. That's one thing that we always see, is it's such a core foundation of their personalities that we do see when we do go to the communities and go to the conferences. And I think we can absolutely see them thinking, yeah, this is something I need to know. This is something that would be useful to know. And I think that is really powerful. Now I have to ask, what's next for you? You've obviously published a book, you get to shout to the world about it, and you get to ask people what you think, and here, this is what you can use, and this is how it can help you, but what's next for you?
Yeah, again, as I was just mentioning, I was talking to a friend and, who just said the book doesn't go and share itself. She was saying, oh, you have the success meetup on Thursday. I said, no, I'm not calling it a success meetup, it's just a book launch. Then she said, no, you have written a book, it's a successful, it's a meetup. And that got to reflecting. I reflect, so that got me to reflect. And then I started realizing that the key message is here, but how do I take it forward to all to the community and to every BA. And again, from past few years, like as I said, this was in the background going on. The next logical step from the book is to kind of support the community by being in that space and holding the hands of the BAs to wherever they need that support. And that is where I have kind of created a digital space for everything relating to cybersecurity for business analysts.
What would you hope to see people take away from it? What would be the best case scenario?
This digital space is called cybersecurityforbusinessanalysts.com. That is the place where you can get a lot of information about cybersecurity in the form of articles, in the form of the book, in the form of training programs, in a lot of webinars, podcasts, and interactive sessions. So this is something I'm hoping that all the entire community can come together, and I'll be kind of even hosting those podcasts from cybersecurity specialists and also people who have endorsed. I'm sure Nick is one of the people here who also delivers cybersecurity training as well. So it's all about the space that can be shared. So there'll be a lot of free content. There'll also be a lot of the paid content as well. But like a one-stop shop for cybersecurity related stuff for within the BA space. So that is something which I'm currently working on. And in fact, I think I even mentioned this to you, Heather, even before we started this project. That was something, training was something I was working in the background.
Yes.
But then when the book came, yeah, the man is here. Lawrence, can we get the site, please?
Thank you, Laura.
Yes. So, yes, I have a mission here. And when I have a room full of people who are supporting me, I think there can be a never better opportunity than to call for action. So I have made a very audacious goal for myself or for us as a BA community. That is, again, it's gone whenever it comes.
I can't do it. Where the Chartland History Prize.
Oh, there you go. So we are on a mission and need your support to empower every business analyst to holistically integrate cybersecurity within business analysis by 2030. So this is a seed that I want us and every BA to sow that seed of knowledge, so that cybersecurity is not outside of business analysis, but it is within business analysis. And as a symbolic representation, we do have this pencil, which is a seed pencil. So this pencil has a seed, it has basil plant. In India, we consider basil as holy basil because it has a lot of nutritious value and it is considered an auspicious plant. And when we start something to get something for the first time, we gift this plant as a token of sharing that love and care. So this is a pencil with basil seeds. My request to all of you is to take this one pencil and be that champion for cybersecurity, to make it holistically within our business analysis and not outside. And that is my mission, to take this to the next step within our community and everybody else. When I say business analyst, anybody who is using the skill of business analyst, it need not be, because the title varies, and we were just kind of talking about that as well with Shalom. So the business analysis role comes in all sizes and shapes and colors. So whoever does analysis, this is something they could. So have a look at this, and I really love this because today Miko, who is a cybersecurity expert, said we no longer secure computers, we are securing society. And I felt that was so, so true. So please take this seed and sow the seed of knowledge for yourself and for everybody else in the community. And that is a biggest call for action from all of you. I hope you will support me in doing that.
That's a lovely note to end on. Thank you so much, Bindu. Please, everyone, a round of applause for Bindu.
Thank you.